17.
Yeah, the book takes place over a period of 5.5 months. When I was 17, my second semester senior year. First time I had sex, I got pregnant. I grew up in a very sort of provincial, conservative area. And
you were in a very tightly knit Catholic community there, right?
Well, I wouldn't say so much Catholic. My mother was a Catholic, my dad was a WASP, because there's a big Protestant element to this story as well.
Right.
But anyway, we found out I was pregnant. I was 4.5 months pregnant when I found out, and my parents decided that we should keep it hidden because my mother genuinely felt that it would ruin my life if people found out. So she didn't tell my siblings, our relatives, my friends, and I was whisked off to what I thought was going to be a Catholic home for unwed mothers, but it ended up a government-run facility that was locked and really for wayward, underprivileged, juvenile, delinquent, pregnant teens.
Now, the experience changed your life, but let's back up for a second. This was 1979, not 1955.
Yes, I know. I hear that a lot.
And your mom literally got you in the car and shipped you off to a government-run facility. You were in a committed relationship, and you had you know, this baby was the result. You were in a relationship with your boyfriend.
Yes, I had the first time. No,
right?
I had, yeah. I was in a relationship with my high school boyfriend, and we had sex, and this was the result. Now, I didn't really realize it. You know, it was one of those stories where you watch and go, are you kidding me right now?
Sure.
The book is really the story of what takes place inside this government-run facility. I was a fish out of water, obviously a privileged white girl. And the beauty is that the transformation that took place was that I became friends with these girls, and I talked a few of them into giving their babies up for adoption. And it really fundamentally changed the way that I saw the world for the rest of my life. I gave the baby up for adoption, and I sped off 2 days later and graduated from high school and went off to college and basically never returned. Now, of course, the rumor mill was that Liz Pryor probably had a baby in high school, but it was never confirmed. So my siblings, nobody ever asked, nobody ever talked about it. The story was that I was off sick in the Mayo Clinic and that I returned and I was better.
The craziest part about this book is your own siblings had no idea what happened to you.
Correct.
So how did this, I mean, over Thanksgiving, I imagine a big Catholic family, you know, this never came out, they never asked, they said, what happened to you in 1979?
No, that's where the WASP element comes in.
You were sick,
they push it under the rug. Yeah.
Right.
So nobody did ever ask, and I never told. I really did keep that secret to my mother my whole life, until a couple years before she died. I asked her how she would feel if I wrote this story in a book, because I'd written a previous book. And
what was her answer?
She said, you do whatever you want, sweetheart, look at you now. That's the title of the book.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about Liz Pryor in 1979.
Yep.
And what's transpired over the last 36 some odd years to 2016 to get you to where you are right now. There's tremendous adversity in there, and I can tell there's still some hurt and ache around your around your heart. It's not something like this stays with you all your life.
No, shame.
You're never totally.
I mean, you know, shame is not something that flies out of you because you write a book.
Right.
It lives and it oozes out of you slowly over time. But, you know...
Was this therapeutic as well, to do this?
I think so. I'm still waiting for the big cathartic feeling, though.
Right.
I think there are two sides to holding, you know, shame. Or living with any version of an untold secret, which I think a lot of people do. The one side is that it's terribly lonely. It's sort of like, you can liken it to you come in alone, you go out alone. So this is not something you're sharing. Like, this story incomplete has never been told or never been written until right now. The positive side of living with an untold truth is that it really does work a muscle inside of you that you wouldn't otherwise use. That really, I think it was the beginning of my cheerleader.
Aren't you your best self when you're at your most honest level?
I think so.
You know, and Americans we love I don't want to say a second chance, but we love an honest story.
It's so true, yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, honesty, you know, honesty just melts people. It just does when people are truly authentic. But you know, there's two sides to holding shame. It does make you stronger. I mean, at 17, I faced the most difficult experience of my life. So as life went on and threw me other things, I think somewhere inside you think, well, I did that, I can do anything.
Liz, we're very tight on time. Just so the audience knows, so you gave up this child for adoption.
Yes.
This child would be about 36 years old. There's no contact, never met, nothing like that.
Yeah, it was a closed adoption. And in 1979, a closed adoption meant a closed adoption.
And you never had any stress about, you know, you're with Better Kansas City today, but you've been on Good Morning America in front of a national audience. Did you ever have any worry that maybe somehow the dots would be connected?
You know,
you changed some names and altered some things in the book so that wouldn't happen.
You know, I've always been open to the notion of this child coming and finding me,
Right.
which is, and my kids are prepared and I'm prepared. But other than that, no, I don't worry about it.
Were you mad at your mom?
No.
Did you hold a grudge?
I didn't. I respected her so much. I believed her.
We're out of time, and I'm sorry to cut you off.
No worries.
I read this quote that you gave at Windy City Live in Chicago, which is the closest show like ours to where this all started. I think that what I went through gave me the scrappiness and the confidence to do what I've done. And I think that all says it right there.
Yes, that's pretty true.
Yeah. Liz, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
If you'd like to hear more about Liz's story and her wonderful, wonderful book, you can do so tonight at Rainy Day Books in the Fairway Shops.